I'll go first. My name's Terry Clark. I live in Applewood. I'm a member of the downtown group. I'm a property manager. I own a property management business, and we manage properties from in the Denver metro area out to the airport, Colorado Springs, Peyton, Monument, Fountain, Front Range.
Awesome. Thank you, Terry.
I'm Michelle Koo. I'm a residential interior designer. I'm a member of the downtown group, and I specialize in condominiums.
Hi, I'm Laura Fortis, a relatively new member of the downtown Denver group, and I'm a market research consultant and strategist.
I'm Walt Boylan. I'm a member of the Tech Center group, and I'm with Denver Business Coach. We do small business coaching for companies who are trying to get to the next stage or figure out what stage they're in right now.
I'm Bill Lando. I do signs of all kinds, so help brands attract attention. I'm a member of the Denver Tech Center group.
I'm Keith Hughes. I'm a mental health therapist in downtown Littleton, and helping people navigate through mental health disorders of depression, anxiety, relationship difficulties, and spiritual growth.
Okay, hi, I'm Terry Carr. My company is Atmosphere. I primarily do real estate staging and specializing in vacant properties, but I do owner occupied as well. And I do some small residential interior decorating as well. I'm not a member, but I know Simon and Sharon, and I hope I'll be a member pretty soon.
Thanks for joining, Terry.
Welcome.
Hey everybody, this is Nathan Urquhart. Just like Terry, I am not a member at the moment, but I'm working with Stephen Conkey to try to get the Lakewood chapter going. I'm in the real estate business, but I focus also with Airbnb rentals and other income properties, mainly in the Stapleton Park Hill area. So thanks for the invite, Sharon.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Nathan.
I'm Jeff Althouse. I'm an estate planning and probate attorney, so wills and trusts and all that good stuff. Not currently a member up in North Glen, but also talking with Stephen about the new chapter that he's trying to form.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
Hi, I'm Derek Christopher. I'm also with Denver Business Coach and work with Simon, and I'm not currently a member, but thanks for letting me join.
Yeah, thanks, Derek. And it looks like Christine just joined us. Hey, Christine.
Hello.
Hi there. Do you want to just introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. I'm Christine Johnson, and I currently work at a library which we're closed, and so I'm just looking. I'm not a member. I'm just visiting to see what you guys do.
Awesome. Thanks for joining, Christine.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with Anna Mannerfelt and Wired Mustang. It's all yours, Anna.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm looking what everyone's doing, and anyhow, so 15 minutes I have, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Roughly. Don't worry about it.
So
yeah.
What I'm going to do is, my name is Anna Mannerfelt. I'm the co-founder of Wired Mustang, a digital marketing agency based here in Denver, Colorado. I'm born and raised in Sweden, but I've built brands all over the world for about 30 years. So I'm quite excited about the topic that I'm going to take you through and some thoughts on it. I'm not sure, Sharon, if you wanted to ask questions, or should I just jump in and say, this is what I see, this is what we should do, and here's what my recommendation is, or how would you like me to do that?
Yeah, no, I think that's great, Anna, and then you can open it up because people probably will have some questions for you.
Okay. So there are 5 things that I was thinking about that I wanted to take you through in terms of your marketing and all that. And first one, and I'm sure that there are others that have, such as Karen, and everything that we do that's visually, is that what we do with our businesses in these unprecedented times, don't panic. Do not panic. Things like this, not like this particularly, has happened before. And why I wanted to say this is that businesses failed when the internet came along. Companies like regular taxi companies went down when Lyft and Uber came along. So things are always going to happen. And now, and remember, if you all remember 9/11, who had your own company during 9/11? Hands up? No hands? But one person, Terry. We all remembered where we were, what we did, what happened, and how we dealt with it. So we panic because that's what we do when there's unprecedented or scary things that happens like this. So I'm just looking at how should you come about your marketing yourself, and how should you come about helping your clients? Well, apart from not panicking, is that you have to be a leader when you have to lead with empathy. Don't be that person who's going to keep ramming down sales pitches down your CRM list that you have. That is going to fail you. People's going to go, you know what? I don't need to be sold at right now. I need guidance. I need help. One thing that we do at Wired Mustang is that we're very fortunate. We have a great group of clients and partners that we are working with, that are still working with us. I've stopped pitching in our CRM. I think it's tacky and it's not what we need right now. And what I've done instead with our team is that we provide extra free service to our clients in terms of videos, in terms of content, just so we can help them be better. And it's not sales pitching, and it's not sales content for the clients, so to speak. It's so we can help them to be the leader that we want to be for them, so they can be for their clients. Does that make sense? Yes? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Okay. So lead with empathy and be smart and savvy. You also have to communicate really well with your staff and others. There's a great guy. I wrote it down. His name is Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek on Facebook. He put out, and I can put this into the group, one of the best speeches to his team that I've ever seen about being a leader, but also in terms of being in these scary times, that your job role, even though you might be working in a restaurant, or you might be working as a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or interior design, or a business coach, you can still do that, but you have to be open that you have to change it. Knowing that your role might change, your job per se might not change, but your role. So think about this. You're a restaurant owner. What do you do in these times? Well, you shut down and you think of other ways. People still need to eat. So a friend of mine, he has 5 restaurants down in Florida, and it's where people go and drink, these, what do you call these cocktails, like summer cocktails? Oh, anyhow, he had to shut down his business completely. 5 restaurants are down. So what he does, okay, fine, I can't have people come to me, so I would just keep on bringing my food to them. So the mindset that you have to continue to do is that you're still a restaurant person, or you're still a food provider, but you give it instead of have them come to you. And that's what we have to do in marketing. So provide more and don't ask for more money, so to speak. And also in terms of your marketing plan, guys, if you don't have a strategy, I know Karen and I are on the same page on this one, you have to have a strategy in place before you do any marketing. And if you don't, this is an awesome opportunity, people, to work on your strategy. Most of you probably have 90-day goals for your businesses. We do. What did you say 90 days ago? How can you revisit that, and how can you tweak it so it makes sense for 90 days forward? Because no matter what anyone says, things have changed, and they're going to change. We don't know when this C thing, I'm not even going to say the word. I can't even say it anymore. I'm so sick of it. I can't watch the news. It's depressing. This is what I'm looking at you guys. This is what keeps me going. So this is incredibly important in terms of community and keep to your plan and to help each other. Don't be selfish. Don't say to this client, I'm not going to help you unless you pay me. We do. I believe, strongly believe, that if you give more right now, you will get it in return at a later stage. And it's not just money, but it's about being a helping hand and a leader for your clients, for your community, for your networking groups, which I feel very strongly about. Does this all make sense? Okay. I keep looking at, so how we can prepare, because this too shall pass. Someone very smart said that in our last, when we met everyone at the last meeting. I forgot the lady's name, financial lady. Oh, she's so smart. This too shall pass. This is not going to be for the rest of our lives. And we just have to prepare for when it's passing. What are you going to do? How are you going to inspire your client? One of our clients is a dentist here in Parker, Colorado. Her practice is closed until end of April. So what is she going to do when she comes back? Well, she's going to have a very hectic schedule, obviously, with a lot of people filling and drilling and all that stuff. But what else can we do to provide something to look forward for her? So you have to dare to step out of the comfort zone and just provide great ideas. Not for yourself, but how, because in marketing, my job is to make everyone look better. That's what I do. So maybe we're throwing a launch party for her, a relaunch party. We don't know yet, but we're working on things like that. So think about that, people. In terms of tactics, and I'm sure that Karen's going to go through this on the social media side, but we do see that there are a lot of things going on Facebook, obviously. And if you're in a business where you're needed, if you're a plumber, if you're in the health and wellness business, if you're on online dating, I mean, God knows if you're in that business, these businesses will still be needed, still need to continue to be seen. So advise your clients not to stop their campaigns. Continue to do what you do. You might just have to tweak the message a little bit. Instead of saying, I'm going to give you this for free, and if you sign up, you get a free, God knows what people say. You sign up and you get a free discovery session if you're a coach. Well, how about giving away 5 free sessions instead? You might not make money right now, but you're going to earn and help your people around you in a better way than if you be that greedy person. Also, I think what's important is not how am I going to go through this? How am I going to get through this as a business owner? But how am I going to get through this as a business owner while I have to adapt to my change? Change is awesome. Change is scary. And most marketers see it as an opportunity when it's done well. When it's done poorly, it makes me sick. I see things, and I'm sure that you all are on LinkedIn, on your Facebook, and on your Instagram, and all that goody stuff. And I see messages where people are actually taking advantage of the bad situation. I had a guy, perfect example, what not to do. Insurance person sends me a link saying, hey, look at this woman. She had no health insurance, and now she's stuck with a bill from this disease for $20,000. You should call me and make sure that you're insured. That is a bad way to do it, because then he's what I call the hyena syndrome. He's taking advantage of something very negative to his own advantage, trying to make it to his own advantage. Don't do that. Does this make sense? I feel like I just see a bunch of heads here. Hands in the air, everyone. Can I just see that you're all alive? Like, woo!
Anna, could you give an example of how that insurance guy could have messaged it differently? Yeah, just like reframe it in such
Yeah.
a way that it would be a positive, supportive message versus the hyena kind of
Yeah,
approach.
hyena is really, 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 really bad. I can actually send you guys. I can send it to you, Sharon. You can share it because it's one of the worst examples I see. Because I don't have it in front of me right now. But it was basically, I've already asked him not to stop harassing me on the LinkedIn, and he says, "Well, this is an article about a woman who just came out of the hospital and she had a $15,000 bill, and she has no insurance. So here, call me for my insurance." That was basically the story. So what he should have said instead, say, "In these uncertain times, I want you to be rest assured that me as an insurance person, I'm here for you if you need me." People know what insurance is. People in this country, you have to have insurance in one shape, way, or form. So don't be that hard selling, force feeding the goose kind of thing, because it's off-putting. I almost responded to this person and said, "You are killing me here. Don't do this. You're making your vertical look really bad." The good news is I have his competitors as clients, so I kind of know what to say. So in terms of that, what one of our insurance clients is doing, which I think is great, they do daily updates on how they're helping their clients. They do daily updates on what's going on and how the insurance industry is affecting their clients' different insurance policies and what they're doing to help them. For example, people want information, but they also want to be entertained and reassured. Does that answer your question, Sharon? Anyone else?
Anna, there was something that you said that I think is really important, and I just want to highlight that because I think most businesses still have, a viable path to actually conduct business, but the way that you need to position the product or service needs to change. Where in a certain way, we have a client that is a catering company that used to and will go back to doing corporate catering for businesses and some of the high rises, and now sushi. They're a sushi company, and they have a sushi kit that they developed for deliveries and pickup. And we were really looking like how to market that, where before the traditional way would have just been positioning it as one of the different ways to actually enjoy food, and sushi be standing out. But now, you can market it to problems that customers have, which are they're getting bored because they're eating the same food, because they need a skill or they want to learn a skill how to make sushi at home. They want to teach their kids some skills. They want to have a family activity. Like all of a sudden, their client base has a whole new set of problems that the sushi is still a solution to, but now you need to revamp your messaging so that people connect the dots and actually see how that can actually help me solve the problem. So I think that that's true, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in estate planning, whether it's in counseling, in interior design, social media. Like there's still a need for the services. We just need to help them connect the dots of like, how can it help me in this particular situation that I'm in? Yeah. So that's, I think, like paying attention, what is the value proposition, and not just like go into default mode, how we've done it in the last 5 years, but really understand the needs of our clients have changed. And therefore, not necessarily our products or services need to change all that much, but how we're positioning it as a solution needs to change. So I just want to highlight that because you mentioned it, but I think it's really important.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. And I forgot to mention one of my absolute favorite quotes by Churchill. Does anyone know which one I'm going to say by any chance? When you go through hell, keep going. When you go through hell, keep going. But you might be going differently than you did before, but just keep on going. That's absolutely crucial. It's funny you mentioned the sushi, Simon. David and I were, my partner and I, we were talking about, oh my God, I miss going to my sushi place and And just, I'm like, oh my God, sushi. Who thought of delivering? So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's nice. People are not stupid. People are smart. You'll find a way. You just have to, the only thing that's holding you back to keep on going is you. That is the only thing that's holding you back is you. And if you have an idea about how to market your business or product or service, and you go, oh, is that the right way? Well, I think that NIA is a great forum for that, to ask, I'm thinking about this, guys. Any thoughts? And I'm sure that if there's any legal, challenges or anything that's not right, or if it's whatever it is, I'm sure that the group will be able to provide some insight on that. And I'd be happy to say something too if needed. Anything else?
Is there anyone that has any questions around this topic?
One of the things I was thinking about, and you touched on this, Anna, but in terms of, a lot of people are giving away something for free, but then they have a sell right behind it. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, clearly. That drives me crazy. So, do not promise me, please, 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 please promise me, because it's vulgar. You say, oh my goodness, I'm giving you 2 hours of business coaching for free, but wait, there's more. You have to sign up for a month, la la la. That is the kiss of death. That is absolutely the worst thing you can do right now. Absolutely. If it's free, it's free. But it needs to be free with value, and that's super important. A lot of people are throwing out, oh, I give you free this advice, I give you free right and left, but it needs to be valuable. What's in it for you? If I was one of the best interior designers, I'm just thinking maybe isn't it Michelle, right? Interior designers in the world, I might go out to my network and say, you know what, I'm going to give you a month of free advice. Just free advice, because I'm best I am at my industry, but I'm not going to be that greedy person that actually says, you know what, you have to sign up for a year or a month. People's not going to do that. And also, people don't need that. They need help now. You need to show empathy and sympathy. And if you're giving away for free, they better be for free. Please.
Thank you, Anna. Any other tips and tricks that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I wrote something down actually. Hold please. I can't read my own handwriting. Sharon, this is all your fault. I need to put it in pretty PowerPoint presentations, or I can't read my own handwriting. May I get back to you on that one? I'm sure I can think of it. I can find it. You guys are awesome. Keep doing what you do.
Thank you. And I know people can send questions to you. Anna's always going to tell you what she thinks. So she'll give it to you straight if you have questions. Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
All right, Karen Albert.
Hi, sorry about that. Hello. Thanks so much again for the opportunity to share this time with you guys. As Anna was mentioning, I feel like this has become the new way for all of us to be connected, right? And just sort of, I woke up this morning just kind of feeling like, and then I realized I didn't do any Zoom sessions yesterday. So I'm getting my fill now with you guys today. So thanks for that. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to talk with you guys about social media marketing now in this current climate. Before I kind of launch into some of the information that I want to share with you guys, I'll give you a little bit of background about me. I'm the owner of a company called Behind Your Curtain. I started that in 2010. Prior to that, I call it my past life. I worked for a corporate world. I worked for a software company. I'm originally from Los Angeles for about 16 years. And in the mid 2000s, when Facebook came on the scene, I was absolutely fascinated by it because I realized that the old traditional ways of us providing marketing was you had to hand over your marketing copy, right, to the newspaper or the radio or the magazine, and you had to pay them, and you were dependent upon them getting it in front of their community on their schedule. So when Facebook came on the scene, I was absolutely fascinated about the fact that we could write our own message and put it out in front of anybody at any time, and it was free. So we actually became known as one of the early adopters for using the private Facebook groups for all of the different verticals, the customers that use the different verticals of the software. So they were actually able to communicate with each other and cut the support costs down about 40%. So that was a big success. And that was about 2007, 2008. And so I was feeling really good about myself, making a lot of money for other people. And in 2010, I had a situation where my mother, who was my everything best friend, she was a federal court judge, I lost her to cancer in 3 months. And I don't know if any of you on here have had a situation that's caused you to literally completely reevaluate what you're doing with your life. Well, that was pretty much it for me. And so I decided to part ways with the software company and do some soul searching. I had no idea what it is that I was going to do, but I just knew that it wasn't that anymore. So I kind of needed to find some purpose from the pain. And in that soul searching time, my next door neighbor, she had a nonprofit organization. And so she came up to me and she said, well, you're not busy, and you know that Facebook thing, and I've got a fundraiser and I need your help. So I said, all right. I didn't really get the opportunity to say no. So fast forward 90 days, the event was a total success. We raised lots of money, and the real estate agents that had donated the space for the event came up to me and said, so how much could we pay you to help us with our social media? And I was like, I'm going to get right back to you on that. So that was opportunity knocking, right? And I thought, yeah, okay, why not? So that was early 2010. Actually, April will be 10 years of starting the company. So, fast forward to today. I sit here before you just blessed and humbled that I've been able to help hundreds of business owners. I specialize in working with real estate agents, authors, and small business owners on how to understand how to strategically use social media so that they can actually see some return on their efforts and actually generate some leads, convert those individuals into actual paying customers. So, the two things that Sharon and Simon wanted me to talk about today is sort of the obvious of how does the current situation impact or affect social media marketing? And, the one thing that I can say in the most recent study that literally just came out by Social Media Examiner last week was that we are now seeing unprecedented traffic and usage in the social media platforms. In fact, the platforms, Facebook, this is unprecedented traffic and usage, because of the millions of people that have been asked to stay home, right? So if you sort of think about how can we look at this as an opportunity for us to be able to get in front of not only our current customers and, the way that Anna talked about, this is such an opportunity for us to be able to use these platforms to add value to our current customers, but also look at it as an opportunity to maybe get your message and how you can add value to the people that don't really know about you yet. And so, things that you really want to kind of think about are evaluating how do your social media platforms sort of look, how do they show up in today's climate right now? If the millions are spending time on social media, you might want to look at your Facebook page and your Instagram page. You might want to Google your name and see how you show up. Do you have all of your pages connected to each other? Do you make it simple for the community to learn about you and connect with you? If you kind of think about the analogy of that hub and spoke model, like a bicycle wheel, you want to think about what's the hub, where do you want to be having your customers or potential new clients really kind of connect with you and learn about you. So is that your website? What's the primary site? And then think about the spokes that go out, and all of those various spokes at the end could be all of the different types of platforms, whether that's social media or email marketing. What are you using, and do they all sort of connect together, and do they connect directly to that particular hub as well? So, you want to think about Are you showing up in a way that is impressive to the community? And are they all cohesively connected? And then you want to think about your brand as well. Like, do you look consistent across all of the different platforms? What is your color scheme like on your website? Do you have the same color scheme across all of these different platforms? Do you have the same email address across all the platforms? Are your phone numbers there? Do you have a simple way for people to connect with you, to make it easy for people to really, know that what you do, and make that, kind of take this as an opportunity to do that right now. I mean, I know this is such a horrible time that we are going through for so many people that has had an impact, but I think, like Anna was saying, is let's kind of look at this as how can we look at this as an opportunity? And so we kind of need to see that we do have these platforms that are free, that you have the ability to utilize in such a way now that could help get your brand and your message out in front of the community. And then, the other question that they wanted me to speak to is sort of what are the top 3 things that you should be doing right now in social media? And one is, to Anna's point, is kind of look, how can you be reinventing the way that you add value to your community? If you have a product or you have a service and you've only really provided that, what I call offline, can you find creative ways to be able to now offer that online? If you are a subject matter expert, your clients look at you as a trusted advisor. What is this tribal knowledge that you have in your brain that you could potentially start putting that into actual virtual pieces that the online community could then start to be able to benefit from? Every one of you specializes in something, and every one of you has a unique differentiator. If you start to think about how can I basically translate that into YouTube videos or blog articles or Facebook Lives or things that you can now start taking that information and using these platforms to communicate out to the community. It's just really allowing us all to become very creative and think outside of the box. And a lot of ways are also thinking about, what do you think is the highest demand that your customer has right now? What is it that you really think is sort of stressing them out at the most? And so what could you then craft in a YouTube video or a blog article or a Facebook Live that could help address that concern that they have in whatever it is that you specialize in? So think about ways that you can kind of, and I'm not saying to do all of this to monetize. There's nothing wrong with monetizing your knowledge for sure, but I think to Anna's point right now, it's sort of critical that we're just sort of looking at these as tools to really be able to excessively add value in a way that we can support one another and not feel like everybody has to go into their pocketbook in order for them to be able to work with us. So, identify ways that you can take your value and really communicate that through the virtual sources that you have as well. And then, making the steps to make sure that your social media pages are really showing up in a way that is going to be impressive. So I'm going to give you guys some tips on things that you can do to actually go to your Facebook page today and really make a difference on the way that you show up. So let's talk about Facebook, and let's talk about everybody in here have a Facebook business page, just by a show of hands. Okay. Have you ever posted on your Facebook business page and felt like it's kind of a tree falls in the woods and nobody's seeing it and nobody actually gets engagement? Yeah. Okay. So you want me to explain what happens? Why? You want to know what you can do to actually get engagement?
Yes, please.
Okay. So there is this thing that's called the algorithm, right? So that's the infamous formula that is running behind the scenes, that is basically controlling everything. It's controlling who sees what, how often they see it, how many see your posts. So what we have to do is we have to kind of start to think like the algorithm. What is it that the algorithm is looking for in order for your content and your page to be seen by other individuals on Facebook? So whenever you're using your Facebook or any social media platform, there's two markets that you always want to keep into consideration. There's the market that knows about you. So these are your friends and your family and your fans and followers. And then there's those that don't know about you yet. So those are all of the users floating around in Facebook lands that may have an interest in what it is that you have to offer, but they don't know about you. So let's talk about Facebook's number one priority is to make sure that it keeps the Facebook user community happy, hands down. It actually doesn't give a crap about you guys as a business page. It's all about the individual Facebook users. And the way that it knows how to keep the individual Facebook user community happy is that it is monitoring the behavior of every single Facebook user. It's looking at the pages you like, the posts that you like and comment and share, so that it can start to profile maybe Sally, the Facebook user who loves watching the cute puppy videos, right? So the algorithm goes, fantastic. I know exactly what keeps Sally happy. I'm going to go and scan the millions of Facebook business pages that are out there, and I'm going to find pages that produce cute puppy videos so I can organically start to serve this content up to Sally to make Sally happy. You may have even experienced this as a Facebook individual user yourself, where you go onto your news feed and you start seeing posts from other pages that you didn't even know about, but they're consistent with what other type of content it is that you've shown an interest in. So the reality of it is, and you got to get over it, you're being monitored. But you can use it to your advantage, knowing that Facebook is spending millions and millions of dollars in creating analytics that you can actually utilize to get exposure, to get your content and your page in front of the demographics that Facebook is spending millions of dollars in kind of creating and profiling. So let's talk about you as a Facebook business page owner. It's your responsibility to make sure that you are giving the algorithm all the information that it needs when it scans your Facebook business page. So there's 5 questions that the algorithm is looking to get answers to when it's scanning your page. You ready for this? It wants to know who you are, what you do, how you do it, where you do it, and who you do it for. So I'll say that again. It wants to know who you are, what you do, how you do it, where you do it, and who you do it for. And there's 4 places that the algorithm goes onto your business page to get the 5 answers. The first place it goes is it looks at the description that you have in your profile picture. The second is it looks at the description that you have in your header picture or header video. I can guarantee you, if you all went on and double-clicked on your profile picture, you probably got add a description. You probably got nothing, but that's okay because you guys are now learning, right? So next time we go and look at this, you'll all have beautiful information on there. If you want an example of the type of information that you want to put on as a description of your header, and the description of your header picture and the description of your profile can be exactly the same. My business page is behind your curtain on Facebook. Double click on my profile picture and look at all of the information that I've added in there. I have call to actions, I've got hashtags, and I've got keywords that are very relevant in answering those 5 questions. So we've talked about the 2 places the algorithm goes. The third place the algorithm goes is it looks at the name of your page. So a lot of times you can maybe tick off 1 or 2 of the boxes, maybe 3, in the name of your page. If you give your name, that's who you are. If you identify what you do, right? And if you're geographically centric in your business, identify where you do it. So my name of my page is Social Media Marketing with Karen Liz Albert. So I'm checking off 2 of those boxes, right? That's the third place that the algorithm goes and looks at. And the fourth place is called the story. So there's a brand new section that you have in your Facebook. It's available within the past couple of years, and it's called your story. If you go onto your home page, look on the right-hand side of your page, and you should see the story section. If you don't see it on your home, go under the About tab. If you have less than 25 likes, it hides the story under the About page. Then you'll see it on the right-hand side of the About. Double click on that and use this as an opportunity to create almost a bit of a mini website for you. Pack it in with all of the keywords, right? Those 5 answers that you want to make sure that you are telling the algorithm. You can also add graphic branded images. You can add links, hyperlinks that, again, double click on my story. Oh God, actually, I just looked at my page yesterday and for some reason my story is deleted. So I will recreate it and add it there again. It happens every once in a while. I've noticed that happened to another client of mine. But you can go on to, there's a client of mine that I did his story. He's specializes in working with veterans, military veterans. Why am I blanking on that? It's Martini Holmes of Pearson Smith Realty. So you can kind of see how he's got all of his content in there and a nice story for that. I also helped optimize the Network in Action Facebook business page. So you can go on there and kind of see how we did that as well. So those are the 4 places that the algorithm is going to go and look at. When you pack in all the information, answer those 5 questions in those 4 places, the algorithm's going to kick in and it's going to start to pay attention to your page. So consistently be posting on that page to take advantage of the awareness that your page is now going to start to gain as a result of packing in all of that information. Yes, Michelle has a question.
So I do all my posting on Instagram, and I share those posts on Facebook. Is that relevant, or do I need to actually post on Facebook?
So kind of the rule of thumb is you want about 80% of your content on Facebook to be going directly into Facebook. You can kind of push from other platforms about 20% of the time, but the algorithm, now the benefit is that Facebook owns Instagram, so it's more forgiving, if you will, using the Instagram and pushing to Facebook. But the other reason why I don't always recommend pushing the Instagram to Facebook is that the way that you kind of want to be communicating to the Instagram community is not quite the same as the way you communicate to the Facebook. They really kind of are 2 different strategies when you're communicating to Instagram. Instagram is all about hashtags, and we can talk. That's a whole that's a whole other conversation. My YouTube channel is Behind Your Curtain. I got lots of how-to videos on how to use Instagram, how to find the most effective hashtags to use on Instagram. I also have some videos on how to optimize the use of your Facebook business page to connect with other business pages that could become collaborative partners, helping you kind of increase your connection with the community. But if you do those things, that's definitely going to help make sure that your page is going to start to become more visible. And then really think about what's the type of content that you want to be putting out there right now. Again, going back to what's your specialty? What's your unique differentiator? First, look at it, right? Look at it. The analogy I use is clean the house before you invite the party guests over. So look at your page. Does it show up well? Do your pictures fit? Is your profile picture cutting off the top half of your head? You know, make sure that when a fresh new set of eyes is coming to your page, that they're going to be impressed with it, that you've spent the time to actually invest in making it look really professional. And then once you kind of feel like you've got it looking really good, you've given it that facelift, then think about what's the type of content that you want to be providing. There's a great tool called Canva, Canva.com. If none of you are familiar with that, it's a free tool. You will feel like a graphic designer. It's amazing. And the thing that I really love about it the most is that it will allow you to not only choose the templates, the predefined template size for a Facebook post versus the predefined template size for an Instagram post. You can just click on it, the size that you want, and then it brings up a blank canvas, hence Canva. And then you can pick from, they've got free videos, photos you can use, they've got templates that they've already created. It makes it really, really nice. But the most important thing with using Canva is that it allows you to brand your own content. So upload your video, upload your logo into Canva and add your logo, brand stamp all of your content as much as you possibly can, because that also sort of helps the community. It's all visual, right? So you got to think about how much noise are you competing with in that news feed that's going through, and people are scanning their eyes. So what happens is they first stop at what they see, whether it's a picture or a video, then their eyes go up and look to see what it is that you've written. So if you know that their eyes are stopping on the picture or the video, you might as well take the opportunity to get your brand message in that graphic as well. And it doesn't have to be a lot. You know, it can be just put your logo in there, put your little website, private message me for more information, whatever it is, if you want to add a call to action in the graphics as well. So that's kind of, you know, step 2. And then step 3 is ask, what is it that you want? Like Anna was talking about, what is it that you want to have happen as a result of this community now connecting with you? So what can you offer to people right now? You know, I love her idea of giving away 5 free consultations, you know, and letting people really know that you are kind of creating the, you're coming from that giver's mindset, right? Like this is sort of a time for us to all be supporting and giving one another. So that's what I got for you. I think I did 15 minutes.
That was awesome, Karen. That was a lot of information. And if any of you, I am recording this, so if any of you want a copy of that, because there was so much information in that last couple minutes, we can send it to you. Does anybody have any questions?
Also, Sharon, sorry, I'd be happy if you guys want to send me an email. I'd be happy to send you the workbook that I usually give to people that go through my my online course. The workbook for Facebook, where it's got it all filled out. So basically everything that I just mentioned to you. So my email is Karen A. I'll put it in the chat. Karen A at behindyourcurtain.com. So I'd be happy to send that out to you guys as well. And that kind of walks through, you know, all the 5 questions in the 4 areas.
Go ahead, Anna.
Tech Anna. Hey, Karen, do you know, I've heard rumors and I've seen something out on Facebook that Facebook is actually giving a lot of discounts on their ads right now. Is this something that you've seen?
Nope.
I heard, I'm like, whoa. Yeah, it's buzzing around. Okay, then I've been misinformed because I thought that would be a great opportunity to.
Maybe you're not. It's not anything I've seen. I mean, I'm running ads all the time and I have not received the, hey, we're going to reduce this for you, but maybe they are, but not that I've seen. I wish.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Karen? Go ahead, Bill.
What do you find on Facebook ads as far as, do they seem to work better B2B or B2C?
Well, it depends, honestly. It depends on who you're trying to connect with. I think the majority of the population on Facebook is going to be a B2C. LinkedIn is obviously a more B2B sort of centric platform. But there are a lot of business owners that are on Facebook as well. The thing that I love about Facebook ads is that you really can get very narrow and very niche-y in the audience that you want to create. The more clear you are on who that audience is, the more kind of bang for your buck you're going to get with your money.
Great question, Bill.
Karen, can you, first of all, thank you so much. Like this was impact information.
Pleasure.
Really good.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about, I think what I've seen in this last couple of weeks is, again, like way more engagement on the personal profile than on the business Facebook page, right? And you've talked about that. But I think what I also see at this point, you know, there is more tolerance to also highlight some of what we're doing professionally on the personal side, where people before might have, you know, really tried to really keep that separate. Like, here's my business page, that's where I promote my services or where I talk about business, and here's my personal page. And do you see any shift there, or do you have any recommendation for business owners as it relates to blending or not blending?
It's a good point. I don't know that I've seen that much of a shift. It could be happening. I haven't just necessarily noticed that. You know, my kind of rule of thumb with that is that you definitely need to be delicate about how much you're going to be kind of shoving down the throat of your personal Facebook community. you know, they, like Anna was saying, we're intelligent, you know, and so it's sort of like, don't try and be pitching me all the time. But I think where it will definitely make sense is if you are creating these pieces of collateral now, kind of sharing your knowledge, and you want to then share that with your personal community as well, as long as there's sort of no like sales pitch at the end of it. But you know, if you are doing something where you feel like you've only made money by doing that through one-on-one interaction, like offline, right? So it's actual service-based, or that maybe you want to create a video of helping other people learn more how they could be doing what you normally charge for, they could be doing themselves at home. And the reality of it is, nobody's ever going to stop paying you just simply because you've like all the stuff that I helped you guys with today. I'm not threatened by sharing that information with you. I know that by doing that, right? So I'm just going to kind of go behind the curtain with you guys for a second. I know by adding all of this information to you, I just added massive value, right? And I proved the fact that I am the subject matter expert. So if you get to a point where maybe you can do only so much of what it is that I taught you to do, and you'd like it to take to the next level, you're going to call me, right? So that's what you need to think is, what can I give that's really going to add massive value and prove that I really kind of know my stuff. And so start thinking about what can you be creating that way, and put that on your business page, and then definitely share that with your personal community, because I think that's really, if that's kind of speaking to what you're talking about, Simon, I think that that's really where it's very acceptable now for us to be communicating that to the personal community.
And Karen, I'm going to support you in what you just said, because truth is, if I wanted to be doing all of this posting, I'd be doing it.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, that was content rich, and I really appreciate it. And also, to your point, now I'm sitting here thinking, okay, Karen knows what she's doing. I don't know about these things very well, and I don't want to do it. So, right? I bet I'm not alone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Terry. I appreciate that perspective. Yeah. I mean, you know, we could all try and do a DIY all day long, right? But I think, you know, as I've heard, Anna, you probably heard this one, Steve Black says, right? It's the broke entrepreneurs that try and do everything themselves. And so, you know, we got to really take a step back and recognize, where are we going to really want to spend our time that we know is adding the most value. If you break down, and I know Sharon, Simon, you talk about this all the time, how much is your hour worth, right? And are you going to spend an hour doing something that you're going to get a return on your effort? Or would you rather actually invest that in someone else, where you know then that frees you up to actually start earning the money that you're really worth for that hour? So,
and
thank you, Karen.
For what you could do in an hour, it would take me a week.
Exactly. That's the thing, right? You could maybe get there, probably take you 10 times longer, and the chances are you probably won't even get there as well as I could get you there a lot faster, right? So you can try it, or you can invest in somebody that can fast track you and get you there a lot faster and get you there, you know, looking a lot better as well. So yeah, thanks, Terry. Appreciate that support.
Thank you, Karen.
My pleasure.
Any final questions for Karen? All right, well, her email's in the chat, so you can reach out to her for sure if you have any questions. All right, and now we're going to switch gears a little bit, shake it off. We're going into a whole different topic now with Mary Gallagher.
Yay!
Yay!
Hi guys, I'm Mary Gallagher. I didn't introduce myself at first, but I am the CPA of the group. I mostly specialize in tax, and I also work on some QuickBooks clients, and mostly for small businesses and individuals as well. And today I'm going to really just talk about everything that's been in the media having to do with the IRS's reaction to the coronavirus in Colorado as well, which pretty much follows suit. But basically the government's reaction and what they're doing to help individuals, small business owners, employers, employees, and there's a lot of information out there that I've tried to keep up with over these last 10 days or so is basically all it really has been, maybe 2 weeks, and try to digest a lot of that information and provide that out to my clients, as well as via social media, sharing some of the posts. But there's a lot to digest. So I have kind of a little bullet point slide here with some just overview questions, and you'll probably also have some questions at the end. So let me go ahead and see if I can share that with you.
I can pull it up, Mary.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
If it's easier for you, it doesn't matter. There we go.
Yeah, are you guys seeing my screen?
Yeah, you need to probably maybe make it a little smaller so we can see the whole thing, but I'll start at the top. But
okay, I'll scroll down.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, the government has come up with a series of measures designed to basically financially help people who have been impacted by the coronavirus pandemic, which is pretty much all of us. And I'm kind of doing this sort of in the order of how they did it, but not necessarily, because there's been things coming back and forth. And there's also a lot of things that are kind of in the works that may not have actually happened yet. So I'm going to kind of go over those. So the first thing they did was they extended the deadline to pay your taxes till July 15th, 2020. And then they kind of backtracked and said, okay, well, not only do you not have to pay your taxes, you also don't have to file your taxes. So instead of the April 15th deadline, that's been always that, things that hangs over everybody, that's coming up way too soon. So they moved everything out to July 15th. And that includes filing and paying, as well as all those things that were due in April, like the IRA contributions, Roth IRAs, and HSA contributions. And you basically don't need to do anything. It's as if April 15th is never going to happen and July 15th is now the new date. So just kind of think of it that way. You don't really have to do anything. Now, obviously, if you have money coming back and you have a refund, you're going to want to try to get that refund as soon as possible. But you don't need to pay anything right away. And that includes your April 15th quarterly estimated payments if you're a business owner and you're used to making those. There's been some question about the June 15th payments, and I've gotten a lot of mixed messages right now. I believe that those aren't extended, but they're trying to change that. So that could change in an hour. That could have already changed in the last 2 hours when I've been working on this, but who knows? So, and again, everything that the IRS does, Colorado is pretty much following suit. There's a website that the IRS has created that I've got on there. So you can go to that website if you have any specific questions about your situation, what's really extended. One of the next things they did is provide tax credits to businesses who have employees. And this has to do with the Family Medical Leave Act. And I have to say, I'm not really an expert on FMLA or sick leave or payroll, but I work with a lot of payroll companies. And so I have a very general knowledge of what's going on and how this works. So I really have just been encouraging all my clients to talk to their payroll service providers, but it's basically letting you pay your employees sick leave related to coronavirus, and it doesn't come out of your own pocket. So you basically can take care of all your employees and not be hurt by that financially. The next big thing that everybody's been hearing about is these payments. They're called economic impact payments or rebates, and they're basically money that the government is just giving it everybody pretty much, and there's some exceptions, which is basically sort of an advance of a credit that they're going to be giving everybody in 2020 on their taxes, but you're going to get the money now. As long as you meet certain criteria. And I've kind of outlined some of the general criteria. It does phase out, and there's phase-ins and phase-outs, and who gets them and who doesn't get them. But basically, they're looking at your 2018 adjusted gross income or your 2019 adjusted gross income if you've already filed your 2019 tax returns. And if you're single, you'll get a check or a direct deposit for $1,200. If you're married, you'll get $2,400. And for each child under 18, you'll get $500. And if you've been having your refunds direct deposited into your bank accounts all these years, or at least for 18 and 19, you'll get that check direct deposited into your account as long as you meet those criteria. Now, if you make more than that, there's, it goes up to a certain level above that. For example, married people up to $198,000, you might get part of that, $2,400, but you're going to get something as long as you're not above a certain income threshold. Once you're over a certain income threshold, you won't get it. And you'll get it for all your children under 18. I did hear something on the news today about, well, what about college students? They're on their parents' returns, so they don't file their own tax returns, and they're over 18. Right now, they don't get anything, but they're trying to get that changed. So like I said, none of this is probably going to be set in stone. It's probably all going to change. And then there's a lot of other provisions. I just tried to list a few that might affect some of us or some of you. They're changing if you want to take money out of your retirement accounts, your IRAs, your 401ks. There's ways you can do that without having a 10% penalty. You can pay it back in the next 3 years and not pay tax on it. There's a lot of things to do with that, but that's something you'd want to think long and hard about doing, because I'm one of those people that says, don't touch those accounts and if you don't have to, but sometimes people have to. There's also a new thing on the 2020 tax returns where you can give money to charity. So if you want to help out a specific charity having to do with coronavirus and you don't itemize your deductions, you can now get a benefit of $300 or so. There's a huge expansion to unemployment benefits. Again, I'm not an expert on this, but the unemployment benefits are going to go for longer. There's going to be an increase. There's an extra $600. They are still talking about unemployment benefits for contract workers, which Michigan's governor just allowed that to happen. And I believe our state is working on it, and it's not in effect yet, but it may be. So again, there's things happening at the federal level that the states are kind of trying to catch up on. Simon spent a bunch of time the other day talking about the small business loans, and I don't really want to go into that in too much detail, but there's a lot more loans available out there at lower rates with better repayment things, easier to qualify, and those are at the federal, state, and local levels. So Denver has some special things, and Denver even has a grant program that Simon talked about the other day, and thank you, Simon, because I've already shared that with a couple of my clients who are like hairdressers or massage therapists or people like that that are completely shut down. So that's helping them out. There's also employee retention tax credits for small business employers. Again, this is payroll related. Not an expert on that, but just be aware that that's out there, as well as delays in the time for businesses, small businesses to file their payroll taxes. So just trying to keep up with everything that's going on, but not necessarily, it impacts my clients, and I know that it's out there. So if they have questions, I can know who to refer them to or where they can go for additional help. So yeah, that's just kind of an overview of everything. Is there any specific questions on any of the things I've touched on, or anything I haven't talked about as well that you might have a question on that I might be able to answer? Everybody's getting those
Mary,
checks.
I think one question that I have, or maybe something you could speak to, is especially for small business owners, some of those programs are, you can take advantage of it, but then you can't take advantage of others. And there's a certain overlap
right.
that is not necessarily easy to navigate for business owners.
Yes.
And I know the Small Business Development Center has some specialists. Hopefully you talk to someone that's been there longer than just, recently recruited and has a PowerPoint to walk you through.
Yeah.
But so they have some specialists, but as a CPA, what are the conversations that you're in with business owners that are possibly thinking about that and the impact that it may have on their business?
Right. Well,
you know, there's the banker conversation, there's the small business, there's the financial advisor, and then there's the CPA. And I think everyone has a different perspective on it. So what are some conversations you're in with that?
yeah. Well, I can give you a good example. I have hairdresser clients. There's two hairstylists, and they own the business together, and they pay themselves because they're an S corporation, so they write themselves checks. And they wanted to know, you know, so I suggested that they're in Denver. So I suggested they apply for the $7,500 small business grant that Denver's offering. And grant means that they don't have to pay it back. So I said, let's start with that. Number two is they don't have employees per se. So they really, you know, they're not necessarily going to take advantage of any of those payroll, you know, sick leave stuff because they're the owners and they're just paying themselves. So maybe not that. Then they asked me about some loans, and I said, well, you need to look at, okay, let's look at your working capital, and do you want to take out a loan because this is something you want to pay back? Or do you think you can get through this you know, for the next however long? How long can you get through this without maybe paying yourself or reducing your pay? So kind of look at all the different options, because you may not necessarily need to apply for all of these things, just to know that they're out there, but not necessarily, they may not apply to you. And in their case, they do have like a year's worth of working capital. They're like an unusual, you know, hairdressers. You normally don't have a lot of extra cash, but they have like a year's worth of working capital, but they might as well get the extra $7,500, because if it's free, it's free, and if they can qualify it for, why not? We don't know. So we'll see. So that's kind of what I'm talking to them about. So that's one example. I have another client who is they do parking, you know, they're one of those valet things. And so he's having to lay off, you know, 90% because none of the restaurants are open. So they're not doing the parking. So he's going to his payroll company and working on that. So it really just depends. So it's all over the place.
Yeah, thank you.
Does that answer the question? Yeah, good.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I heard or I read that the federal government is also offering $10,000 for small business grants. Is that different than the $7,500 in Denver?
Yeah, the Denver program is separate. That's something that I haven't looked at, and maybe Simon knows that. I've been trying to digest all this stuff as much as everybody else. I didn't know that there was a grant program. I thought it was a loan program, but I could be wrong. I'm not an expert on those, on most of these loans or grants. I'm just trying to kind of keep up on kind of the tax side of it, but also be kind of that advisor for my clients in other areas. So have you heard of that, Simon?
Not specifically. I think what I've been focusing on is the Paycheck Protection Program, which I think is going to be one for most small business owners. It's going to be almost the best route to go, but they're still in the process of really finalizing and passing the information on to the different lenders. So I hope that within the next couple of days, we're really going to hear more about that, and then that the lending institutions start actually, you know, making money available and the applications opening up. So yeah.
So the Paycheck.
I'll look into it, Terry, for sure.
Well, I read it on the SBA website.
Oh, good. Okay. I believe that the Paycheck Protection Program, Simon, has to do with payroll tax reductions. Is that right?
Yeah, but also not just the tax, actually the expense of payroll.
Okay. Wow.
So that if you use money that you get, you can be forgiven, or if you use it differently, you know, at 4% interest.
Okay.
Still, I'm studying it, but I think that's a really good option for especially
Yeah.
business owners that have employees.
Okay, great.
Can someone put in the chat the location to apply for the grant, the state grant, the $7,500 grant?
Yes, I mean, you had that the other day too. I don't remember.
And Mary, will you put your contact information in the chat also in case anyone wants to reach out to you?
Sure.
Okay. Any final questions for Mary?
I do. I have another one. So Mary, if I file my taxes now, is there anybody at the IRS to process them? And will I?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I've been filing lots of clients. I really, it's almost like we can't even tell it's closed. I mean, I haven't seen any difference, honestly. So.
And are there people working at the IRS to give us our money, our refunds?
Yes. Yes. Like I said, I've really seen no change on that area. So business as usual on that. And there's no reason not to file now unless you really, I mean, you can always file now and pay later, but you don't really need to wait.
Thank you.
Mary, that was great. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I hope you all found that helpful. Thank you so much, Anna, Karen, and Mary. And for those of you who joined us as guests today, I would be happy to talk with any of you who just want to learn more about the Network in Action community, and I'll put my email address in the chat as well. We do have, for the members, on Friday at 9 a.m., we'll be doing our virtual roundtable. And then next week will be our first month where we're doing our regular monthly meeting virtually. So that will be, the Tech Center group will be on Wednesday from 3:30 to 5. And the downtown group will be Thursday, 3:30 to 5. And any of you are welcome to join either of those meetings as a guest as well, if you want to get a sense of what our monthly meetings are like. And of course, it'll be adjusted to be in a virtual meeting, but those meetings are really engaging and interactive. So thank you all so much for spending this chunk of your time today. And I'm going to put my email up there before I close. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and take care of each other.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care of your
Thank
family.
you.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. Take care.